Welcome to Octerrorfest Bonusode. Halloween screaming.
Those were words.
What's screaming this Halloween?
I am excited.
And by screaming, I mean streaming.
It's 2023. Streaming services are better than they've ever been. They've absolutely
more expensive than they've
got
ever
their
been.
shit together. They make no mistakes.
There's the interactive platform.
They're
is
doing
very
great.
user-friendly.
The state of streaming could not possibly be better.
They haven't changed their name multiple times.
Let's touch on that for a moment.
What makes you scream about streaming services?
Let's say you have bought a company that has a name that everyone knows and has known for 40 years. And that name is associated with not only the best of TV, but also starting the renaissance of television in the first place. And your first act is to change the name.
Yeah.
Just change it.
Mm-hmm.
Just get rid of it.
Exit out.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
What
Perfect.
do you think? Do you think sometimes stipulated in the contract of purchase that they must not use?
No, I just think
the
that
former title.
Many powerful, big running things that were started by smart people are now run by boneheads.
Well, speaking of boneheads, we're gonna let you hit your head with some horror.
Skeletons, something scary.
Yeah, we're going to give you some options on what to stream and scream this Halloween.
And cream. So obviously there's a lot to watch, and we're just going to whittle it down to 5 picks each across all sorts of different platforms with weird names. And yeah, give you sort of a jumping off point.
I tried to give you as many options of streaming and some free and some that maybe you can do a free trial.
But your time is precious, people, so we only chose the good stuff.
We did. So why don't you start with your first?
I'm going to start with my first, and it's an oldie but a goodie, and it is with the streaming service Max. The incredibly named Max with the name we all know and love and have known and loved for years.
Formerly HBO.
Right.
Max.
HBO.
Formerly HBO.
That thing, HBO. So the movie I'm going for is 1962's Carnival of Souls by director Herc Harvey. Now, this is very much an independent film. It's an early entry into this sort of movie. Now, at this point, the Hays Code, which was defining much of the morality bullshit of Hollywood, has basically gone away. And filmmakers, especially independent filmmakers, are starting to really test the waters. Now, a few years later, George Romero would come along and just change things forever. But in 1962, Herc Harvey released this absolutely delightful, strange little gem of a movie. Now, this movie's it's black and white. It is very stripped down, but it really relies on the clever camera work, the atmosphere, and this sort of weird something's wrong vibe. Now, it's about a young lady who's in a car accident, and then things just get sort of strange for her. People don't seem to respond to her normally. She keeps running into this weird guy who looks sort of like a dead man. And it has an occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge type reveal. It's one of like the early twist ending type movies. It's a really, really good movie. It totally holds up. It's a real masterclass in how to make an effective horror movie just using creativity and clever camera work and some good makeup, honestly. And just as a fun trivia tidbit, Harvey's last directing credit was an episode of Reading Rainbow.
Oh, wow.
Butterfly in the sky. I've been dead the whole time. So, yeah, Carnival of Souls on also known as HBO Max.
Formerly HBO Go.
Formerly HBO Now.
Right.
Formerly just fucking HBO.
So my first recommendation is...
Formerly the channel your rich friend had that you went over to watch because at your house it was blurred out in purple.
Okay. So my first recommendation is a film from 2015 called The Invitation. So it's from the 2015 The Invitation.
Not the recent vampire one
Right.
with the girl from Game of Thrones.
Correct. So you can stream this on Peacock, Prime, and for free on Tubi.
No, oh, nice.
So
Love Tubi.
The Invitation. And I want to first start out by saying that it's directed by Karen Kusama. I want to first start out by saying it's directed by Karen Kusama.
Oh.
She got her sort of directorial debut with Girl Fight back in the year 2000.
Which was also really the introduction of Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah, and she won
a dope movie.
Best Director at the Sundance Film Festival for that. She went on to do Aeon Flux and Jennifer's Body. And then she completed the horror film The Invitation in 2015.
Which, in my opinion, is her masterpiece.
I think she sort of entered into this horror timeline because she is now an executive producer on the Showtime series Yellow Jackets, which is an incredible series. So anyway, The Invitation, it stars Logan Marshall Green and Michael Hisman, speaking of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And essentially, Logan Marshall Green's character accepts an invitation for a dinner party with his ex-wife and new husband, and he starts to believe that there's something
totally
dark and sinister happening within the group, and he's been invited there for a very dark reason. And it is very psychological. It is very much, do you believe what's happening is actually happening? Is there something weird going on, or is it just the discomfort that the character's feeling in this really strange environment?
It's like that dinner party episode of The Office, but a horror movie.
Well, it's much worse than that because there's no exes involved. But yeah, if you like cult movies or strange groups with groupthink that are trying to convince you that your life would be better if you ... and you really like those psychological horror films, then you're really going to like this.
This is a movie I was so happy that you liked because it is a slow burn with an incredible payoff, which is totally my vibe, but doesn't always work for you, but this one really hit you.
Yeah, and I believe it has an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, so
it deserves
I think
every
it works for a lot
tomato.
of people.
Yeah, it's good.
So
it's good
check
stuff.
it out. It's really enjoyable. It is not, bloody, like super bloody or gory or anything like that. It's really at its core like a psychological human thriller.
Again, with a really great payoff.
And a really great cast too.
So my next one is on Paramount Plus. It is a prequel, so it does have a little bit of homework if you haven't seen the movie it's attached to. It's 2022's phantom film shot in secret, released by surprise, Pearl, by director Ty West. Now, X, this is the prequel to the fantastic movie X, which watch X. It's totally worth it. It's amazing. Now, Mia Goth plays two characters in X, and Pearl is a prequel movie about one of those characters. So Mia Goth returns for Pearl, and she is fantastic. Now, the thing about Pearl and X is the two movies are extremely stylistically different from each other. Pearl plays out like an ultra-saturated, colorful fever dream as imagined by a psychotic serial murderer. It's bubblegum and blood and guts. It's absolutely wild. It's a lot of fun.
Bubblegum and guts.
Listen, it's the only way to describe it because, like I said, it has a almost Lynchian quality in that it really does at times feel like a fantasy movie, like a fever dream of a movie. But really, the strength of it is no disrespect to Ty West's incredible direction, and he's more known for subdued slow burns like House of the Devil or The Innkeepers. But this movie is a real departure stylistically for him. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek. It's bloody as hell. And Mia Goth, man, we have a new Scream Queen. She is just phenomenal. So anyway, Paramount Plus, Pearl, check it out.
Excellent.
Definitely watch X and stay tuned, I think, early next year for the third film of the X trilogy, Maxine, which is a sequel. So we've got X, we've got the prequel, Pearl, and coming soon, Maxine, which is going to round it out. Also starring Mia Goth.
Great. I will look forward to not watching that. Those movies are not for me, but I did watch X.
You did. You did. You gave it a try.
I did.
And it's unfortunate you didn't like it because it is absolutely great.
Yeah, it's just not my kind of film, which
Understood.
I was surprised.
I was too.
How much you enjoyed it, because sometimes when horror and sex mix, you don't really like it.
I was surprised because the 70s vibe and just...
I like that.
Yeah, the cast is fantastic. And there was,
It was gross. For sure.
Oh, yeah. No, listen, it's awesome. But
It's
there's
very
also
violent and gross.
big swinging horror. Anyway, so...
So my next recommendation is
Yes.
The Invisible Man from 2000.
Oh, the remake by Lee Wanell.
Yes.
Excellent.
On Apple TV and Prime. And it stars Elizabeth Moss.
Got choices, people.
Oliver Jackson, who plays a really scary dude. He's
Does.
from Oliver Jackson Cohen is his name, actually. And he's in a lot of our favorite Mike Flanagan.
Yeah.
We see him all the time. And
I had known him from Haunting of Hill House, where he
Yeah.
plays a very different character.
Sad. It's
Yeah,
really sad.
very vulnerable, and in not this one.
This also stars Storm Reed and Aldous Hodge.
Yeah, Hawkman himself.
So after a crazy scientist played by Oliver Jackson Cohen, he stages his own suicide in order to try out this new technology to have the power of invisibility and stalk and terrorize his ex-girlfriend played by Elizabeth Moss. And the police do not believe her. No one believes her.
Pretty much standard modern dating.
There is a scene, I will tell you right now, there is a scene in a restaurant at a table,
Yes.
and it is gasp, shock,
It's a brilliant direction.
bloody, violent, and
Oh, yeah.
horrific.
Fucking great. I mean, it's a really good direction to take the concept of a toxic ex with the power to be invisible and fuck with you.
And it also subverts a typically common behavior from women that are stalked and abused by their exes or even current boyfriends and husbands, where they try to keep this abuse a secret. They don't ask for help. They don't try to get others to, intervene. Oftentimes women that are in like domestic violence situations don't file police reports and ask, people to believe them. This is the total opposite. She is, trying to get people to believe her. And she does find a way to show a little bit of what's happening. And I have to say that
she has to go through a lot to
she
get
does.
that. Yeah.
But the effects here of how they create his invisibility,
Yeah.
especially when he's being, ultra violent to her, is pretty amazing.
It's great
really well
movie.
done.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Moss is able to carry a film like this.
She is. She's got the perfect nervous energy for this
She
character.
does. So sometimes, you can understand why people don't believe her.
Yeah.
But it's a great film. I think it was a little underrated by critics when it came out, but I think overall people generally
Oh no, it
really
was a
like
huge
this film.
hit. So you've got a recommendation from Lee Wanell, and you did the invitation with Logan Marshall Green. So put them both together, people, and go watch Upgrade, directed by Lee Wanell, starring Logan Marshall Green.
Yeah.
It is super fucking awesome.
So what's your next recommendation?
My next one is on my favorite paid-for streaming service, Shudder. Oh, we love you, Shudder. Hello, Shudder. This is the incredible Sean Burns follow-up to The Lovely Ones. 2017's The Devil's Candy. Delicious. I mean, perfect for Halloween, right? So this one actually stars 90s kids will know this name, Ethan Embry. All grown up now, he plays a metal-loving painter and dad and husband who moves his family to a big old ranch in Texas. Now, he's a city boy. But he goes out to the country, and he and his family get terrorized by, let me check my notes here, the devil.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now the real sticking point here is Pruitt Taylor Vince. Now, if that's a name you're not familiar with, shame on you, but I forgive you. He's been in tons and tons of movies, everything from Angel Heart to Constantine to he had a part in The Cell.
He played the doctor. Crazy weirdo doctor.
He's a real big hulking dude. Now, he plays a creepy serial killer named Ray in this movie who, lived in the house that Ethan Embry just moved his family into. Also the house where the devil is screwing with his mind. So the movie actually starts with this really awesome scene of Ray, who hears the voice of the devil and is tormented by it, and he drowns it out by hooking up his flying V to a big stack of speakers and playing the loudest metal possible. So this movie is basically a love letter to metal. Ethan Embry is a metal-loving dude. He has his daughter who loves metal. There's a lot of great music in this movie. Now, as Ethan Embry starts to lose his mind because of the devil's influence, his artwork gets really, really dark. His family starts to worry about him. It's got a lot of heart to it, especially his relationship with his daughter. It's really, really sweet, and it's a beautiful exploration, especially for dorks like me who it's just nice to see, the young generation into metal. And like the way that the dad and the daughter bond through their shared love of this, rad music is really, it's lovely. Also, the movie's scary as shit. Sean Byrne is incredible. It's violent. Pruitt Taylor Vince is so good. And man, Satan and metal, what goes better together than that? PB&J, Millie, and Vanilli.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The Devil's Candy.
I said absolutely, like Axel.
Nice.
My next recommendation is Oculus.
Fuck yes.
I would never go past a recommendation list like this without recommending a Mike Flanagan.
Obligatory Flanagan.
So obviously Mike Flanagan created this. You can stream it on Apple TV or Prime. It is from 2013. It's another sort of supernatural psychological horror. It stars some of our favorites from all different kinds of mediums, but especially from sci-fi. Karen Gillan. She is in a lot of sci-fi.
Oh, I mean, from
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Amy Pond from Doctor Who.
And Katie Sackhoff. From
Starbuck herself.
Starbuck,
yeah.
Also, Katie Siegel is in this film, of course. She makes an appearance. What I really love about this film is I recently rewatched it, I would say a couple months ago, and it is very scary. Even when you know what's happening, it is very scary. The film takes place in two different timelines, the present and flashback, about 10 years or so prior. And basically, there's this house, this couple moves in, they have their daughter and their son, and they buy an antique mirror and put it up in their office. And the mirror starts to cause hallucinations. Marie, the mom, starts to be haunted by looking in the mirror at her own decaying body.
Oh, that's relatable.
And the husband is seduced by this ghost sex pot.
Also relatable.
And the kids witness all this.
Yeah, which has definitely not fucked them up.
Yeah, the boy is recently discharged from a mental hospital. They have to go clean up the house, and The daughter, who's played by Karen Gillan, is like, I want to figure out WTF is up with this mirror.
Yeah.
So she sets up
it's
this
a big ass mirror too.
intricate filming situation, which is really brilliant.
And also her failsafe.
Yeah, the kill switch. Right. So we
good
see
idea
it play
in
out.
concept.
Yeah. We see it play out. We see what happened originally in the flashback. And I will say, along with all Mike Flanagan's work, the emotional depth and the heart of this film is there.
Oh,
it's not just a horror film.
Mike Flanagan is an evil creator who delights in the suffering of us. We cry at everything he makes.
Yeah.
And he loves it because he feeds off the tears of his viewers.
Mike Flanagan said for this particular piece, he was influenced by H.P. Lovecraft, and he said how seemingly the literature of Lovecraft has an alien force that even if you were try to understand it completely, it would drive you insane. Yeah,
that's what I really like about this movie is how often it tricks you. It's constantly messing with your perception of what's real and what isn't.
Yep.
Along with the main characters, it does it to the audience as well. And you're just like, what is even happening? Oh my God.
They filmed it in 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is, it's a very tight scene.
Yeah, it's mostly takes place in that one house.
And flashbacks.
Yeah.
So check it out. It
so
is,
good.
I highly, highly recommend. And if you haven't really been exposed to Mike Flanagan, this is a really good entry point.
It is. And once you start, you're done for. You're going to have to watch everything he's done. It's all good, by the way. All of it. Guy's amazing.
It is. It's amazing. He's amazing. And my beloved co-host is also amazing.
Thank you.
What's your next recommendation?
My next one is such a good movie. It is so good. It's so good. This one's on Hulu, everyone. It's on Hulu. It is 2018's Annihilation, directed by Alex Garland. Oh, my God. Okay, I am a big fan of the book on which this is based. It's the first book of a trilogy called the Southern Reach Trilogy. It's the same name. It's by author Jeff Vandermeer. And exciting news, everybody. Jeff Vandermeer recently announced a new installment, a surprise fourth book called Absolution. There's no release date set yet, but he did say it's in the works. So anyway, the movie differs. I want to say, if you've read the book, the movie does deviate, but it's great. It stars Natalie Portman, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Oscar Isaac, Tessa Thompson, Gina Rodriguez. Oh my God. It's an amazing cast. It's about this alien presence has come on Earth and basically sealed off this area called the exclusion zone. And everything in there is weird. And they keep sending this government agency keeps sending teams in, and they keep getting fucked up or not coming back at all. It's just all sorts of distortions and dilations. They don't follow the rules of nature inside, or the rules of physics as we know them. So Natalie Portman goes in there, and it is she plays an incredible character, this stone cold biologist who really has trouble relating to other people, but she's great at her job. And she goes in with this all-female team because her husband, Oscar Isaac, was part of the prior team, and he was the only one to come back, and he's in a coma.
Meow.
Yeah, it's great. So anyway, it's a straight-up body horror, this movie. It is gnarly, so just caution there. It's not for the faint of heart. It features some of the scariest monsters out there. Absolutely. There's a particular boar that will haunt your dreams. So it's a great movie based on a great book, and it's one of those wonderful examples where you could read the book, watch the movie, have two completely different experiences, and enjoy the shit out of both of them. Natalie Portman is absolutely she's so talented. She's so good in everything, and in this, she is fantastic as always, and playing a very complicated female character, one that is hard to sympathize with because she's playing someone who doesn't connect with people. Mm-hmm. And it's we're as the audience, we are supposed to connect with her enough to care, and we do. That's the talent. Alex Garland obviously is a legend. Annihilation.
Awesome. So my next last two, I'm going to go by pretty quickly because, I mean, you all know about it. So my next is 5 movies in a franchise, the Scream franchise.
What?
You can stream all of it on Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus?
The first 3 Scream movies were created and written by Kevin Williamson. I'm sorry, the first 2 were written by Kevin Williamson, and then the 4th one was written by Kevin Williamson. So you'll notice something that happens, especially around the 3rd movie.
Also, the 3rd movie's bad.
It's not good.
No.
But Wes Craven directed the first 4.
4, yeah.
And,
then he died.
He's since passed away, but
he did.
The reboot that happened in 2022 with the Scream reboot and then Scream 6, 5?
6. 5 and 6.
6. So those are both extraordinarily amazing.
So good with the next generation, Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. Yeah.
Yep. And we see, Nev Campbell come back and some of your other favorites coming back. But I just can't tell you, if you want to watch one movie franchise this October, just watch all the Scream. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. It's going to be fun. There's one for every, week of the month. Enjoy it and skip over 3.
Nice. So my last one is on pod favorite Tubi, which has just the most amazing selection of movies. And I'm going old school again with this one. This one is an absolute necessity. If you have not seen it, you've definitely heard about it. You've definitely seen part of it. It's Night of the Living Dead by George A. Romero, 1968. This is the movie that started everything you know about zombies. Now, before this movie, zombies were largely based around the Haitian and Caribbean myth of the zombie, which is very different than the Walking Dead zombie you're used to. All of that comes from George Romero. Shoot them in the head, shambling undead, decaying corpses that eat human flesh. That's all him.
Yeah. All those zombie tropes that you know and love and run from.
This classic actually does, through a radio broadcast, tell you the origin of the zombie plague. Now, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but you do get an answer as to how it all started. But it's it's almost a throwaway line. Now, it stars the incredible Dwayne Jones as the hero of the movie, which in 1968, having a black man as the hero and only, black characters surrounded by white characters was pretty subversive. And Dwayne Jones had a lot of input on this movie. He actually is the one who demanded the very now famous and infamous ending. He demanded that his character end that way, that it was much more reflective of American society. And I would have to say he is correct, unfortunately. So this movie is amazing. It's an indie movie, as were all of George Romero's movies. It's basically a siege film. Now, it's a group of strangers get caught in a house. It's basically a siege film. A group of very different characters get caught up in this, outbreak that is sweeping the land of zombies, and they all retreat to a country house, and they all stay inside. And like most of your favorite zombie movies, the real evil are the living. Basically, Dwayne Jones is stuck with a group of crazy crackers, a bunch of fucking assholes in this house, and they fuck up and endanger other people, and by the end of it, basically everyone's dead, and it's awful. But this is where it all begins. I'm telling you, man, it still holds up. It really does. Check it out, 1968's Night of the Living Dead, and if you're interested, check out Tom Savini's 1990 remake starring Tony motherfucking Todd in the lead role. So
he was also in an episode of Psych recently that I've been rewatching. And our werewolf episode that just landed, they also had American Werewolf in London actor come back and play a crazy doctor who was making someone think they're a werewolf.
I love that about Psych.
I know, too. Me too.
There are
and
so
they have
many
the original
random,
poster
awesome
in
actors.
Sean's house.
Yeah, there's always like really good homages to things. I know.
Sorry,
it's amazing.
Watch Psych, everyone.
Yeah, watch that too. That's our last recommendation.
You can watch that for free on Prime if you have Prime.
You know that's right.
So my last is also a callback, an oldie but a goodie, cult classic. One of my favorites, and I think a favorite of my co-host is Carrie.
Boo!
From 1976.
Brian De Palma.
Brian De Palma directed. Stephen King originally authored, and Lawrence Cohen wrote the screenplay. And it stars Sissy Spacek, Piper Laurie, Amy Irving, and you all know. It's the prom. It's bullying.
Also Karen Allen and John Travolta.
It's the common high school things that happen. Bullying, the prom, sports, the locker room.
Shitheads.
And telekinesis.
Yeah. And murder.
And
crazy
and
religious moms locking you in the closet and talking about your fun bags.
But you know that this movie exists, and if you haven't seen it or you want to find comfort in a film that you
Dirty
already
Pillows.
know and love.
It was Dirty Pillows. I'm sorry.
Dirty Pillows.
Not fun bags.
You know and love it. It's a classic for a reason. It's always going to be scary. It's always going to get you in the mood.
And they're all going to laugh at you.
And you're going to be really happy to be out of high school. For many reasons, but especially watching this.
Honestly, yeah, you think your high school was bad. Jesus Christ.
But I just wanted to give a plug for Carrie because don't forget about it. It's still there for the streaming.
It's so good.
And you can stream it on Apple TV or Max or whatever the new name of Max will be when you're listening to this.
Whatever it is tomorrow, unless, of course, they cancel it retroactively to save money.
So we gave you plenty of things to watch for the
what else do you want from
entirety
us?
Of the Halloween and witching season.
Yeah.
So where are you going to scream this Halloween?
Great question.
So we hope you enjoyed this bonusode for Octerrorfest, and just, we've given you some ideas on what to scream this Halloween. Enjoy! Terror in Tandem is written, produced, and recorded by Laura and Richard Mathiasen, and edited and mixed by Richard Mathiasen. Our Octerrorfest theme and all other music was written and performed by David Suspanic. All opinions expressed on this podcast are our own and should be taken as such. Thanks for listening, and please remember to give us a like, a review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you do, we promise not to haunt you.